video is brought to you by Letsynthesize Academy, the #1 place for practice-oriented courses for serious music producers.
Hey, Dan Larson here, welcome to a new Synthesize Sunday episode, and today we are talking about roller bass through this groove that you can download the whole stuff from my Patreon below. And by the way, all the drums are synthesized. If you want to learn how to produce like Nausea, click here, but now let's jump into it. Okay, so to make this sound, it is very simple because you need two oscillators, you need FM between them, you need distortion, some compression, and it is very important, some low-pass filtering before the distortion, so you don't want to get a very noisy result. So let's jump into Serum and let's see what we need. Okay, so in Ableton you can see two envelopes. The first one is macro 1, the second one is the low-pass filter frequency, and basically the macro 1 is a low-pass filter too. If you have a look on the matrix, you can see that macro 1 is assigned as an aux source for the filter cutoff, so the main filter cutoff here. And basically the idea behind is that I wanted to have a very harsh sound at the beginning that I wanted to filter out later. And this is all. Let's see Serum now. We have two oscillators and the second one is cranked up to 3 octaves because I'm modulating oscillator A with oscillator B. You can see I chose FM from B. We have a sub oscillator going out directly from the synthesizer, and which is more important is the unison. As you can see on oscillator A, I use 7 voices unison, but I pulled back the randomization on both of the oscillators because I wanted to have a stable sound. You know, I didn't want to have the unison voices restart themselves on different position every time I hit a note. So this is very important for me. Okay, so this is only about the sound generators. I use a filter, a low pass filter, but it is very important to crank up the drive. Because it's a lot fatter this time. And I use LE41 on the cutoff and on the sub level. Now it is very important to filter sound before distortion, because if you don't do that, it's just too harsh and resonant. I don't really prefer that, and nobody prefers that basically in the club. Okay, let's go to the fix. Now I'm using a distortion. It adds some nice extra harmonics to it, and I'm using LE41 to control the drive. The next is a flanger. It again adds some extra harmonics and extra movement to the sound. An OTT like always, and an EQ to crank up the very highs, and cut a little at around 1.3K. And I'm using an extra low pass filter because after all the distortion we still generated lots of high end that I wanted to filter, and I'm using LE42 to add a little different movement to this whole sound. At around 5K it sounds the best, and the phaser to the end that subtracts some middle frequencies that I think are a little too much. Okay, after Serum I had to use an EQ to fine-tune the sound, because I mean it sounds well in itself, but you know, in the musical surroundings with the drums and all the other basses, I had to match them with an EQ. So the first one is like always chopping the very highs at around 9K, and the middle high frequencies and the middles and the middle bass frequencies had to be cut a little or decreased a little because they were just, you know, too much, and you know, it just hurts our ears and hurts our head. And the saturated to the end to add even more beef to it.